a few of, because when Raghuramji contacted me, he told me that I have to speak from my heart. And that's only a reiteration of what I have always been doing. And I think that's the best way to go forward. So if somebody asks me, when did you decide or choose to become a teacher? I think I would say, as long as I remember, I've always wanted to be a teacher. I have never thought of anything else. So somewhere along the line, if a seed was sown in me to be a teacher, I think I owe it to none other than my own school teachers. So I can, even at this very moment, I can give you the names of all my teachers, right from my kindergarten to my class 12. I remember each and every one of them by name. And I think each and every one of them has left some indelible imprint of the values that they practiced, which I have imbibed along my journey, especially in school. My parents were very thoughtful and they put me right in a school where they had all the classes right from kindergarten to 10th. So my schooling was one uninterrupted journey of 12 years, right from kindergarten to class 10. And I think that was the most precious or the most impressionable age where each and every trait of my personality today has been mentored and molded by my very own teachers. For example, my class 2 teacher, she had this unique habit. When we were in class 2 and we had those lead pencils to write, many a times, when we were in our interest to impress the teacher, we'll press and write very dark and then in the process break the lead. So very often, and in those days, I'm talking about the 1970s, we never carried sharpeners, or we always carried only that one pencil around. We never had the luxury of carrying 2 or 3 pencils. So all that we had to do when we broke our pencil tip was to just raise our hand, and our class teacher, Mrs. Mari Bout, she would come, she would have a small pencil knife and she will hold our hand, take us to the waste paper basket that will be there in the corner of the classroom, and sharpen the pencil and give it back to us and escort us back to our desks. So that small act for a teacher, right, made me understand how much it is to be taken care of at a one-to-one level. This is the treatment given to every child in the class, no matter who it may be. It may be a boy or a girl. Like this, my class 3 teacher, being one of the enthusiastic ones in the school, I would always be given, the charge of arranging the class cupboard. And very often, there used to be a packet in the last row or the last shelf of the cupboard, which used to contain a pair of slippers and a spare dress. One day I picked up the courage to walk up to my class teacher and I asked her, "Ma'am, why do you leave those pair of slippers there and a spare dress for you for there? What is it doing in the cupboard? That should be at home, isn't it? Why is it here in the class cupboard?" She told me, "Nandini dear, in case I come to school and I get drenched," because she used to travel by train and she had to walk to the school from the train station. She said, "In case I got caught in the rain and my slippers tore up or my dress got drenched, when I come back to school, I will have something dry and warm to get on." So that for me was the fable of the ant and the grasshopper, to be prepared for emergencies, to always have a fallback option. So somewhere down the line, I think they are the ones who, somehow imprinted those values in me. One incident which I would like to share, I had finished my 10th standard and I had gone in for my 11th standard admission, and I had opted for the science group with advanced English. I chose not to go with maths. The principal there, she asked me, "Nandini, you've got good scores in science and in maths. Why don't you take up the first group? You can go on to become a doctor." Without batting an eyelid, I said, "Ma'am, I just want to be a teacher." She said, "Okay." So The point I'm trying to share here is that I have been blessed and been fortunate enough to have been molded, mentored, and groomed by all these teachers. So it was always very clear to me as to where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. So all those values which I had picked up, as my teachers would always say, no, pass the gift along. And I have now been passing the gift along. When I became a teacher, by right now, I have completed about 30 years of being a teacher plus a few months. This journey has been an amazing one, from handling students in the primary section to then moving on to middle school and then moving on to higher secondary. Now heading an institution has been a journey which I would never exchange for anything in the world. So what has been my strong beliefs, or I'm somebody who's driven by passion. I think if you have the passion to push you, everything else becomes secondary. The experiences that I have gained over these years have always made me, think back and ponder about what I have become as a person in the process. Very often in school, I have been perceived as a very strict person, as a very strict disciplinarian, but I have always made it a point, to tell my children, to explain why certain things are done. If I need something to be done in a particular way, if I'm able to reason out to my children, and if I'm able to convince or connect with them, I think that is the greatest blessing a teacher can be to her children. This morning, I have been calling back and speaking to my own teachers, and the connect that I'm able to strike with them even today, after so many years since I've left school, has been another great pillar of support. Because many a times during these 3 decades of being a teacher, I have had my own moments of doubt, self-doubt, right? Then it's always my teachers whom I have gone back to. They have always been supportive, and telling me, yes, you are in the right direction. Go with your heart. It's only a small bump in the road, which you'll get over soon. And as far as my journey here, I still believe when somebody comes up to me and asks me, Nandini, what are the immediate response that comes out, even though I've now moved on to an administrative category, I prefer to still call myself a teacher, because I think that's what I am at heart. So it's, for me, it's a very, very deceptively simple thing to be remembered by my students, or it's a very deceptively simple thing for any teacher to be remembered by her students. All that you have to develop is 2 things. One, develop that human connect, because in and through all these years, ultimately, or in the end, what is going to make a difference is the human bonding and the human connect you have with your children. We need to point out only 2 things to the child: her strengths, and instill in them a belief that they are capable of doing anything that they want to do, they are capable of doing. You have to only give them that belief, those wings, they will be able to fly high. I believe teaching does not come with pedagogy, it actually brings out the integrity and the inspiration. If you are able to be a person with great integrity and inspiration, your students will always find you, and they will remember you for not what biology or the math that you taught them, but the way you made them feel. I think at the end of the day, that's what makes a difference. Right from Gurukula times to the classroom, now online classes, then hybrid classroom. Over the ages, education has gone a lot of change. But what is the one factor that has remained constant? The teachers. The teachers. So the systems may come, the systems may go. You may have pedagogy, you may have Bloom's, you may have anything and everything. But it is the teacher and the human connect and the bond that she strives to build, and she builds with her students, that is ultimately going to make the difference. I think that is where teachers are rightly called as angels of the earth, angels on earth. Now, when the pandemic situation is over and the students are going to come back, we are going to have another set of challenges. We have to, bring them out, make them unlearn online learning and come back and get themselves accustomed to what's going to happen. Now, we are doing all this not because we have to do it, because I believe no one else can do it. It's only the teachers who can do it. Because the greatest learning curve that has happened during the pandemic, it has been with the teaching fraternity. From being the chalk talk, we have now moved on to a system where we do screen share, post assignments on Teams, post assignments on Classroom. From collecting answer scripts, we moved on to correcting PDFs. So whatever may be the challenge, I believe that we teachers are doing it because, not because we've been asked of it, but because we are the only ones who can do it. We don't have anybody to tell us, because the passion that each and every teacher has is keeping and guiding and moving us forward. So with those few words, I would like to sign off at this time, paying my grateful respects and gratitude to my own teachers who have shown my destiny to me, that of being a teacher. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Namaste, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Nandini. It has been a wonderful. Thank you so much. See, it's. I know Nandini since almost 25 years, and never I have seen her saying that it was a tough thing that to teach and all. And definitely, Nandini, and you have definitely inspired us, and you passed the gift along, and we believe that particular strength. And the two things which you have told is, children, we have to make the children believe in their strength and instill the belief that they have the inner potential. Just fantastic, and whichever subject it is. And thank you so much, Nandini, for your time. And my dear Utsahins, let us teach our students to solve the problems instead of looking for opportunities. Let us bring the energy, the passion. She has quoted a few examples there, and the determination back to the schools post-pandemic. And students definitely deserve the best education they can get, and we are prepared to give it to them. And let us all do it together. And now let us have another segment now with a journey along with Prasannaji, where Utsahins are going to talk about. We have teachers, we have educators, we have parents as students, what they think about the teachers. So we're going to that segment, and over to Prasanna for that. Prasanna.
Thank you, sir. Every one of us has been a student, and at some point of time, every one of us has been a teacher also. So now it's time to share our experiences. So we have a few Utsahins who would like to share their experiences today on this platform. First, I would like to invite our own Geeta Lakshmi ma'am. She's a principal of Rani Public School since 20 years, working as a teacher, principal, academician, everything. So ma'am, welcome ma'am, and over to you. We'd like to hear from you now.
Good evening, and I'm so happy to share actually the platform with Mr. Dheeraj Mehrotra, because I'm also a rock star teacher, because he awards the teachers with that name.
Yeah.
So happy Teachers Day to all of you. And my experience as a teacher, actually, I always back on my students. I think they only made us, all of us, good teachers. Because one incident, because only 1 minute. So one incident I'll quote. When I was actually in the second standard back in 94. And when I went to the class, that was my first experience with the primary class. I've never been to a primary class. So before that. So I went there and I saw that the children were running like a train. They were not actually listening to me. It was my first experience. I didn't know what to do. So all were doing whatever they wanted to do, and they were never paying any attention to me. So when I was standing like this, then I felt that somebody was tugging on my sari, and one small boy, it was in Qatar, so a Muslim, a Negro boy, Johnson. He told me and he gave me a stick and he told me that show that to him. So show that to the class. He showed like that. So the stick came to my hand and the class came in order and all were looking at me and they were ready to learn from me. But one mistake what I did is, actually I was so angry with the students that I gave 4 or 5 beatings to everyone. And then I started teaching. And once the class was over, the Johnson was waiting for me for his scale because that was his scale. So I said, "Thank you, Johnson. You gave me the scale." So he gave me one sentence. He told me that I told you to scare them. I didn't tell you to beat that students. So that was a lesson for me because most of the time we teachers, we punish the students because to satisfy our ego, actually not to correct them. So just showing the stick was enough for me. But in order to satisfy my ego, I have given 2, 3 beatings to them. After that, I have never taken stick to the class. It is 32 years I have been teaching and doing the work of a principal. So what I feel is I owe a lot, and all of us owe a lot to our students because they only make us better teachers. So thank you, and a happy Teachers Day to all the teachers and all the parents and all the people, because as Prasanna Madam said, everybody is a teacher at a point of time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Very true. Every day we learn, we become a student every day in every class. Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing with us. I would like to invite now an academician, an entrepreneur who doesn't need much introduction, actually, our own Rameshwar Reddy, sir. Sir, stage is yours, sir. We'd like to hear from you.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Remembering my gurus, happy Teachers Day to you all. Saluting teachers for a shaping civilized future generations. Teacher, they guide us, they inspire us, they motivate us. All fields, all aspects, teacher is teacher. Remembering my father and my gurus, they taught me with all these things what I led so far. Really, I'm very, very, very thankful to my gurus. The influence of a teacher can never be erased because teacher, always the continuous learner, they should upgrade, update themselves. We have seen our guest speaker also said that in pandemic, our teachers, they suffered a lot, but they overcome it with using technology, giving online education and all. Really, it is a very, very, very tough situation, but our teachers got out of the tough situations. So teachers should be, apart from delivering the content and syllabus, they should deliver the moral values to the present generations. We have seen recent years, because of globalization, the punishment should not give to the children. This is because of exploitation of teachers. The most of the educators, qualified community, they are not coming into our teaching profession. This is very unfortunate, but I all request, because for future generation, teaching should be a continuous process. So it is my humble request, we have to encourage the teachers to deliver the good education. Thank you, Utsahin.
Thank you very much, sir. It was wonderful hearing from you. Let's hear from our young learners now. I would like to invite Vaibhav Swaroop, a class 9 student from Rani Public School, Kerala, whose passion is attending quizzes and robotics. So we would like to hear from you, Vaibhav. Over to you.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes,
Good
Vaibhav.
evening. Good evening to all dignitaries in the Zoom platform. The light of the world, the beacon in the dark, and that hope that give us strength to survive is our teachers. Today, on September 5th, is Teachers' Day. Myself, Vaibhav Swaroop from Rani Public School, Kerala. First of all, I would like to thank our principal, Mrs. Geeta Lakshmi ma'am, to offer me such a speech. In India, Teachers' Day is celebrated every day, every year with great significance, enthusiasm, happiness, and with lots of joy. On 5th of September is the birthday of Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. He was a great scholar, teacher, and philosopher, and he became the President of India in 1962. A teacher is an ocean of knowledge. Without teacher, we cannot imagine a beautiful life. It is truly said that teachers are like the backbone of our society. Teachers who work tirelessly to ensure that they provide the best education to their students in this pandemic situation also. It is impossible to define a teacher, as teachers are not only limited to teaching in academics, but also helping students molding their future and making them a greater person. It is also said that teachers are greater than parents because parents only give birth to children, while teachers make them bright and brilliant. There are many teachers who inspired me, but one among them and the best teacher who inspired me is our principal Geeta Lakshmi ma'am. She received the Best Teacher Awardee from the Honorable President of India. Usually, in our school, we celebrate Teachers' Day by taking class by ourselves and letting the teachers take rest. But in this pandemic situation, we are not able to do that. Even though in this challenging situation, our teachers who quickly adapted to the new and normal ensured continuous learning for us. We can call our teachers a great warriors who ensure that learning never stops. No learner is left behind. Last but not least, I would like to end my speech by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's quote. The purpose of education is to make good human beings with skills and expertise. Enlightened human beings can create great teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhav. That was really good. Thank you very much for sharing with us. Now I would like to invite Rishita, a class 10 student from Bhavan School. She is an IAS aspirant, and she has won Best Student Award many times and always there in the nominations. And she is a NCC school commander also. So Rishita Dornala, welcome. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Acharya Devo Bhava. Teacher is God. This is what our culture imbibes in us. Good evening, everyone. This is Rishita Dorinala of class 10 in Bhavan Sri Ramakrishna Vidyalaya. Teacher is at one of the highest epitomes of divinity for us. President Ramnath Kovind touched the feet of his teacher when he attended a function in Kanpur. In Chicago, US, an Indian student, Gaurav Jhaveri, touched his dean's feet in his graduation ceremony. A teacher engages in shaping the future generations for a nation by building confidence, knowledge, and discipline in his students. A teacher constantly engages in thoughts to make learning easy for his students. A teacher coaches and guides his students to overcome their fears or challenge themselves to unleash potential. Words of wisdom from a teacher can change students' perspective of life forever. As an example, I would like to quote one of my teachers, Mr. Ramesh Garmilla. He helped me overcome the fear of math. He's very knowledgeable and always tries to make things easy for us. He mentors us and helps us in choosing proper courses for our career. While he taught us, he also inspired us in many ways, like engaging in welfare activities for orphan girls. He leads us by example. When I was wondering what an ideal teacher means to me, I couldn't help but realize teachers themselves to be ideal for their students. Every teacher I ever came across, or every teacher I ever learnt about, has given me only one idea: that a teacher is the embodiment of selfless preaching of knowledge, that a teacher is an important person in the life of a student who gives a strong shape to his whole life with his knowledge, commitment, and tolerance. So, on this occasion, I take the opportunity to thank all the teachers for their efforts towards making the student successful in their future. Thank you.
Wonderful, Rishita. Very well put and very good choice of words also. Very good. Thank you for sharing with us today. And I would like to invite next Umesh, who is a true Gen X learner. He is aspiring to be a web designer, and he's passionate about learning new technologies, and is also interested in paper art. Over to you, Umesh.
Thank you, ma'am. Having a lot of problems and challenges in his home life, he endures pain and for others. Good evening, my dear Utsahin. I am Umesh from Ocean High School. I am fortunate to have my teachers as friends, inspires, and mentors for life. If a person is successful, it's a teacher behind it. It's a teacher who wishes for his students' success. He's like a bright sun of education in the dark galaxy. He lives his whole life sacrificed and born to his students' future. He feels the intense joy which no one can imagine when his students exceeds him and become successful. He never ever hesitates to share the knowledge with others. He is um, He's just like a burning candle which sacrifices and consumes itself to make others' life brighter. After the parents, the one whose presence is most important in our lives is a teacher who explains us the true meaning of life. Thank you and wish all the teachers a very happy Teacher Day. And thank you, Utsahin, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Umesh. That was lovely hearing from you. That's all from for this segment, but I would like to end sharing something as a teacher with everybody's permission now. So what I feel is we teachers have three loves: love of learners, love of learning, and the third is we are ready to do anything to bring these two loves together. So this last pandemic year has been a very good example where all the teachers have lived up to the challenge of online learning and emerged successful. So with this, this is what I would like to share. And with this, I would like to hand over to Raghuram sir, and happy Teachers Day to everyone once again. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Prasanna, for a beautiful segment. And now, of course, it won't be complete. Our session won't be complete if we don't have words from our own Mrs. Geeta Subramaniam on the teaching and her experience in teaching and influencing others. Over to you, Geeta Subramaniam, ma'am. Geeta, ma'am.
Oh, good evening.
Vanga.
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
It's a pleasant surprise for me.
I know.
Thank you. But, yes, as a teacher, my journey as a teacher started in 1979. Almost 32 years of experience.
Yeah.
And yes, as a teacher, I started my journey from class 1 to class 9 and 10. And my husband, being a general manager Reserve Bank, he was going on getting transferred to various places. So when I go to the new place, new school, I will be treated as a new teacher. So my journey will start again from class 1. Then I'll be going, achieving the next class. When I reach 9th or 10th standard handling, that time again, my journey will start from the class 1. So I have a lot of experiences with my children. I have learned a lot. So as a teacher, every day is a learning, and not just for praising sake I'm saying, but I'm enjoying the Friday learning with Utsahin. Many people, sharing their own life experiences, and I never miss. I try to be always, a regular visitor for this Friday segment and learn a lot. And as a teacher, I think every day is a learning process for us. Thank you. Thank you, Raghuramji, for giving me this opportunity. Happy Teachers' Day to everyone.
Thank you so much, Geeta ma'am. I was just checking for your video. I couldn't see you, so I wanted you there. Thanks a lot. Thank you. And it was like a story again. Thank you. And my humble request to Sri Siddhanti Arindam Kumar Acharya sir to bless us with his message. Sir.
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Agnanasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. డాక్టర్ సర్వేపల్లి రాధాకృష్ణన్ గారి జయంతి సందర్భంగా అందరికీ కూడా శుభాకాంక్షలు, విద్యార్థులందరికీ కూడా శుభాశీస్సులు. ఉపాధ్యాయుడు, గురువు, ఆచార్యుడు, రకరకాల పేర్లు మనం వింటూ ఉంటాం. మనం ఎవరైనా కూడా అందరి యొక్క కేంద్ర బిందువు ఎవరంటే కేవలము విద్యార్థి మాత్రమే. విద్యార్థిని సెంటర్ పాయింట్ చేసుకుంటూ తనేంటో తను మర్చిపోయి విద్యార్థి యొక్క సంపూర్ణ వికాసాన్ని దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకుని ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్ళేటువంటి వ్యక్తే ఒక దిశ కావచ్చు, దశ కావచ్చు, రెండు చూపించేటువంటి వ్యక్తి ఉపాధ్యాయుడు. కాబట్టి ఉపాధ్యాయుడు విద్యార్థుల్లో కొన్ని లక్షణాలు స్పష్టంగా వచ్చేటట్టు ప్రయత్నం చేస్తుంటాడు. జ్ఞాన తృష్ణ, గురౌనిష్ఠ, సదాధ్యయన దక్షతా, ఏకాగ్రత మహత్వేచ్ఛ, విద్యార్థి గుణపంచకం. చాలు, ఈ 5 గుణాలు వస్తే ఆయనకు అన్నీ వచ్చినట్లే, ఆల్ రౌండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ వచ్చినట్లే, ఇంకేం లేదు. ఈ 5 గుణాల కొరకే ప్రయత్నం ఉపాధ్యాయుంది. అంత మాత్రమే కాదు, కొన్ని జీవిత పాఠాలు, లైఫ్ లెసన్స్. ఈ లైఫ్ లెసన్స్ లోపల తను నిలబడాలి అంటే మాత్రము ఖచ్చితంగా అవి గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటే చాలన్నమాట. ఎక్కడో దగ్గర కోపం చాలా వచ్చేసింది, వెంబడే జ్ఞాపకం రావాలి ఉపాధ్యాయుడు చెప్పిన విషయం. ఉత్తమే క్షణకోపస్య మధ్యమే ఘటికాద్వయం అధమే స్యాదహోరాత్రం పాపిష్ఠేన మరణాంతకం. ఇది ఒక్కటి ఉంటే పెద్ద ప్రమాదం నుంచి బయటపడే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. తర్వాత ఎప్పుడు కూడా జీవితంలో కూడా మర్చిపోయినటువంటి గుణాలు కొన్ని ఉన్నాయి. ఉత్సాహం, సాహసం, ధైర్యం, బుద్ధి, శక్తి, పరాక్రమం. కాబట్టి ఈ యొక్క 6 గుణాలు ఒకవేళ విద్యార్థిలోకి రాగలిగినట్లయితే ఉపాధ్యాయుడి ద్వారా ఆ విద్యార్థికి జయమే జయం. కేవలం ఇక్కడే కాదు, ఎక్కడ ప్రపంచంలో ఎక్కడ తిరిగినా సరే జయం. కానీ ఒక్కటి మాత్రం ఎప్పుడు ఉపాధ్యాయుడు గుర్తు చేస్తుంటాడు, నానా నీవెంత ఎత్తుకైనా ఎదుగు, కానీ ఒక్కసారి రామాయణంలో రాముడు చెప్పిన మాట మాత్రం మర్చిపోవద్దు. లక్ష్మణుడు చెప్పాడు, అన్నా చాలా బాగుంది లంక, ఇక్కడే ఉండిపోదామంటే, నాన్న అది కాదు నాన్న, మనం అయోధ్యకు వెళ్ళాలని చెప్పాడు. అందుకే ఆ యొక్క శ్లోకాన్ని మాత్రము విద్యార్థి జీవితంలో మర్చిపోవద్దు. అపి స్వర్ణమయీ లంక నమే లక్ష్మణ రోచతే జననీ జన్మభూమిశ్చ స్వర్గాదపి గరీయసి. కాబట్టి అది మనం జాగ్రత్తగా మనం విద్యార్థి మనసులో తీసుకుపోయినట్లయితే అది ఉపాధ్యాయ దినోత్సవానికి ఒక సార్థకత. కాబట్టి ఉపాధ్యాయులుగా మన పిల్లలు ఆ విధంగా పై స్థాయికి ఎదిగారు, ఇంకా ఎదగాలి, ఇంకా ఎదగాలి, ఇంకా ఎదగాలి. కానీ కన్న తల్లిని, పుట్టిన ఊరును, చదివిన పాఠశాలను, మాతృభాషను, మన దేశాన్ని మర్చిపోకుండా ఉండాలని కోరుకుంటూ అందరికీ కూడా గురువుల యొక్క, మా గురువులకు కూడా ఈ ఉత్సాహం చక్కటి కార్యక్రమం తీసుకుంటున్నారు వీళ్ళు. కాబట్టి ఈ మా గురువులకు కూడా, మా చిన్ననాటి గురువులు ప్రస్తుతం లేరు, అయినా కూడా అక్కడి నుంచి ఇప్పటి వరకు ఉన్న గురువులందరి యొక్క పాద పద్మాలకు నమస్కారం చేసుకుంటూ, ఇప్పుడున్న గురువులందరికీ కూడా శుభాకాంక్షలు తెలియజేసుకుంటూ, విద్యార్థులందరికీ కూడా ఒక్కటే గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, మీరు గురుదక్షిణ ఏమి ఇవ్వాలి అని అంటే కేవలము మీ ఉపాధ్యాయులు చెప్పిన విషయాలను మీరు ఆచరణలో పెట్టగలగాలి. ఆచరణ, ఆచరణ, ఆచరణ. వందే భారత మాతరం.
Chala santosham, sir. Arindam, sir, thank you so much. And for the benefit of others, let me introduce Sri Arindam, sir. He is the guru for Sri Ram Reddy Garu. So, and he is the blessed student there. All right. Would you like to talk, Ram Reddy?
Vande Guru Parampara.
As a student.
That's it. I can't speak.
All right. I know. I can understand. And may I request Mrs. Rajeshri Muthu to share her thoughts, please? Rajeshri, ma'am. Rajeshri, ma'am, எங்க இருக்கீங்க? Rajeshri, ma'am. All right. Before she gets started, may I have Muripam? Yeah, Rajeshri, ma'am, please. Yes, ma'am. Unmute, ma'am. Unmute. I didn't want to miss your message. Yeah.
It's a great feeling to be a teacher.
Okay.
So especially on this day, when the children send messages from every corner of the world. So definitely, I had forgotten those kids. So once upon a time, long time, we have taught them, but still we are living in their memories. What a great feeling it is. So we have not spent anything. We have tried to give our best. So that is paying the dividend. So that's how I see things. And really, it's a great, God has really blessed us for being a teacher. So I thank him every day.
Thank you so much, Rajeshwari ma'am. And now I request Mrs. Muripa, if you are there, please come onto the video just for your message. Muripa ma'am. Are you there? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Over to Anirban for the closing comments. Anirban? Yeah.
Thank you. It has been a wonderful evening today on the occasion of Teachers' Day, India. A good teacher is someone who gives heartful hope, inspires innovation, ignites imagination, incites inquisitiveness in the child or the learner, and forever touches the future. How true. Every single message today showed us how the teachers are the builders of not just nations, but also all of humanity. We started off with Dr.Dheeraj Mehrotra's message on how the children of today are the workers of tomorrow, and how teaching them the unknown and building in them the passion to learn would build the future of the nation. We become richer not by just what we learn, but also by how we learn it. He focused on the importance of the digital age and how digital presence being ensured that we are available on our devices and our students are able to learn whatever, whenever, wherever, through the World Wide Web is an important element that the teachers must build in their students today. He also spoke about the importance of marketing the brand I, and by teaching the children to be independent, motivating them to learn by themselves. All of these messages are topped by one word that he very simply said: it's not just enough to walk the talk, but it's also important to work the talk, meaning whatever you learn and whatever you teach, ensure that you live the same and you make your students live to the same. That was followed by our second message of the day by our guest speaker, Srimati Nandini Srinivasan, who started off with a prayer that speaks about, a Sanskrit prayer that speaks about how the teacher and the student need to move together and explore together forever. It also focuses on the importance of how the teacher has always been someone who imbibes value in her students. She herself recalls experiences from how KG to 12, every single characteristic that she in her personality has today was molded by her teachers in her formative years. The crux of her message was about building the human connect. A good teacher ensures that she or he builds the human connect with the students, and that bondage by creating an empathy for the child, ensuring that the teacher represents the best self, helps the child prepare for a rainy day by having a plan B. All these values were things that she, from her own inspiring stories in her childhood, delivered in her message, saying that no matter whether you're in a Gurukul whether you're in a simple government school or whether you're in an international school, what will really make the difference is not really pedagogy, but how well you as a person, as a teacher, are able to build confidence in your child or in your learner to perform, and how well you're able to ensure that the strengths of the students or the learners are nurtured. So this is where she also reflected how, even today, though she's in an administrative position, whenever there's a bump on her road, she reflects back with her teachers and goes to them to take a cue. That was followed by messages from our own Utsahins, first starting with Geeta Lakshmi ma'am, who, as the principal of Rani Public School, focused on how, in her very first learning experience, when she had to teach a primary class, where she had a set of very energetic, creative set of students who were, a little new to attention. She was really frustrated and upset with them, so much so that when she was prompted by a little chap with a stake, she used the cane to really thrash her students and kind of relieve her of her own frustration, wherein just showing the stick to the children was enough. The usage of it was not necessary. So just as they say, spare the rod and spoil the child, she also passed on the message that she never again, after that incident, ever had to use a cane against any student, because at the end of the class, the person came and told her, I only asked you to scare them, not to hurt them. She took that message to heart, and she recalls how that one incident changed her as a teacher herself, where today she's an award-winning teacher who, she uses the rod, but not to thrash them, just to scare them when necessary. The next message was from Rameshwar Reddy ji, who started with a gratitude to his parents and his teachers, and showed how they are influencing him even till this day in life. His core message was, the best brains today need to be teachers because they mold the society, and the society needs to encourage teachers so that you get the best of the brains to nurture the individuals of the future. That brought us to the student section, where we had Vaibhav, who spoke about how teachers are the beacons of every one of us in our ocean of life, and how teachers are the warriors who make learning a continuous process. Rishita Doranala, a 10th class student, shared her own version of how teachers are the epitome of divinity, and how teachers are the people who help students overcome fear and challenge them so that a student can excel to their full potential. She took her own life example of Sir Ramesh Garimalla, who made her overcome her fear of math, and also taught her life lessons by helping the students to go ahead and help other orphan girls. Then was the chance of Umesh, who shared with us his idea of how teachers are friends and mentors for life. He also focused on how a teacher, like a candle, burns himself or herself off for the sake of ensuring that they enliven others in their lives. So sacrifices of the teacher in the noble profession of teaching is very important to building the right people. Prasanna ji, in her own way, as she closed her section, passed on a beautiful message of how the love of learners, the love of learning, and the longing of either to go together is what makes teaching, learning a very enjoyable journey. Geeta ma'am, she had a beautiful single line message, which is about every day to her is a teaching, learning journey that teaches her from life and its experiences. Arundamji, the guru of Sri Ramji, started off with how the importance of a guru as a dispeller of darkness is important, and also spoke about the other natures of whether it's a acharya, a upadhyaya, a drishta, a guru, adhyapak. Every one of them are centered around the student. That is where he focused on the 5 important qualities of every student. Takachesta, be continuously and repeatedly taking small efforts like a crow. Vakodhyanam, the focus of a crane. Shwana Nidra, the alertness of a dog, even in sleep, is continuously alert. Alpahari, giving the right set of inputs in the right quantity so that your senses don't overwhelm your mind. Grahatyagi, meaning coming out of your comfort zone and being always ensuring to endure pain in life if need be, so that you attain the right gains. Just as they say, no pains, no gains. So those 5 qualities represent the right characteristics of a student. He also spoke about an important verse from the Ramayana where, whether it's friends or riches or grains or granary, what's highly honored is the love of mother and motherland, which is superior even to heaven. And that's where he spoke of how teachers must also teach life lessons to children: enthusiasm, intelligence, courage, patriotism. These qualities must be built by a teacher in their students. It's not just enough to give knowledge, but giving life lessons is more important. And that brought us to the last message of the day by Rajeshwari ji, who recalls her teachers fondly and expressed gratitude towards those little lessons learned through skits and fun from her teachers in her childhood, which she still remembers. I think with that set of summarization of the messages, we come to a closure of a program here today. I would, on my own behalf, like to say, teaching is a noble profession that shapes the career, the character, the caliber, and the future of every individual that we touch as teachers. So, to ensure that we continue to touch lives for the better, we continue to build for the better, every one of us as teachers must first be learners. And the learner is the focus of every teacher. And while the learner is the focus of every teacher, the great teacher is that person who can not explain complex things, but who can reveal simplicity in everything. The average teacher makes complex things understandable. The great teacher makes every aspect simple. And the great teacher influences and inspires the child to become inquisitive enough to explore even the unknown. Never impose learning. Make the thirst for the learning grow in your learner, and equip your learner with the right set of conditions that would help them to explore and find their answers. Ensure that you as a teacher, like Albert Einstein always used to say, awaken joy in your student and help them understand the power of creative expression and the beauty of knowledge without getting caught up in the rigmarole of life and what is already known. Exploring the unknown, building that is the mark of the great teacher. Thank you. With that, I will hand it back to the host, Raghuramji.
Thank you so much, Anirban, for the closing comments, and you have covered majority of the things. And I request there is one more surprise here. I request Piali to, send her message, please. Piali, unmute. 1 minute.
Okay, so I'm thankful, grateful, and blessed to be under all those teachers in my life, the experiences. So as an acrostic poem for teacher, just I put it on my text. I will say that teachers are troubleshooters. They are the encouraging personality in the classroom. They are the avatars every day. They motivate, they initiate, they instigate. They are the coaches, healers, empathetic, resilience, and for us, the teachers is survivors. Every single day we survive to put up and lift up every single child in the classroom. Thank you. Thank you for everything, teachers here.
All right, thank you so much. And last but not the least, may we have Sharmista for her message, please. Sharmista. Anirban, one moment. Yeah, you must know that she is also a teacher, not just a singer.
Yes. So today, just remembering my teachers and me as a teacher. Thanks to Utsahin, just the thing I want to say. Thank you.
Come on, that's all. Yeah, Anirban, you want to share your screen?
I'm just emotional thinking about
I know.
my teachers and me as a teacher.
So when you think about teacher, you become emotional. That is the sentence from you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
Anirban, would you like to read it out?
I think the messages are pretty self-revealing. So Swami Vivekananda on teachers had to say that a teacher is someone who has something to give. They're contributors. It's not about talking. It's not about imparting doctrines. It's about communicating two-way between the teacher and the student. And learning and teaching go hand in hand, where both of the teacher-learner get educated themselves. Anyone and everyone cannot be an acharya, meaning a teacher of mankind. Many can become liberated or muktas, but the acharyas are those through whom the divine power acts onto mankind.
Amazing.
Here's what Abdul Kalam had to say on teachers. Abdul Kalam ji said, a teacher has to create a lifelong autonomous learner. And the focus here is on the autonomous learner. Ensure that the student is taught how to learn. Your best teacher, he also said, is your last mistake. So teach in your students the ability to learn from their own mistakes. Educationists should build the capacities of the spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial ability, and moral leadership among their students so that they themselves become the role model, meaning the teachers must live these values. Sri Aurobindo, another great leader, and Aurobindo Ghoshji, spoke of the three important tenets of learning. He said nothing can be taught. That is, you need to teach how to acquire knowledge. Don't try to teach subjects of material and matter. First, prepare the child's mind to receive it. The mind has to be consulted in its own growth, he said. That is, make the learner choose what they learn and how they learn. Don't impose anything, but rather build in them the curiosity that they choose to learn what you want to teach them. And then he also spoke of how working from the known to the unknown makes true life meaningful. He spoke of 5 dimensions of teaching learning: physical education, vital education, mental education, psychic education, which includes understanding the various aspects of emotion and psychology, and spiritual education, which he called as supramental education, as the most important aspect of education that every teacher can give their students.
All right.
The next message is from Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, who says, when we think we know, we cease to learn. So let's also teach in our students the humility that there is always an element of learning. The end product of education should be a free and creative man who can battle against historical circumstances and adversities of nature. That applies to women also. With that message, I'll close this set of messages. Back to Raghuramji.
Thank you so much, Anirban, for this. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Let us teach our students to solve problems instead of looking for opportunities. Let us bringing that energy, passion, and the determination back to the schools. Now there is a time for us, and students deserve the best education they can get, and we are prepared to give it to them. Let us all do it together. And Sangachatvam. Over to Yesh to extend the vote of thanks. Yesh.
You audible, sir?
Yep.
Thank you so much. I feel immensely blessed. Yes, Raghuram, sir.
I think Sudha has to render the English prayer after you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been immense pleasure to extend this vote of thanks. Before that, angels on the planet teach us, remind the past, awaken the present, and enable the future. Raghuramji had pointed out, when book is a source, teacher is a resource, angel resource. So I would like to thank our guest speakers, Dr.Dheeraj Mehrotra ji, who has pointed out learning as a priority worth the talk. I would like to also thank Mrs. Nandini Srinivasan ji, who spoke on lead by example about the human connect. Thank you for those insights, speakers. And I would also like to thank the guest teacher speakers, Mrs. Geeta Lakshmi ma'am, Rameshwar Reddy sir, Geeta Subramanian ma'am, Piali ji, Sharmishta ji, Anindam Kumar sir, who is also the teacher of Rami Reddy sir, and also Rajeshwari Muthu ma'am. Thank you all for joining us. I'd also like to thank the student speakers, Vaibhav, Master Vaibhav Swaroop and Nishita Dornala. Thank you for sharing those insights. And before I end my vote of thanks, I would like to share my experience as a teacher, what I felt about teacher as a teacher. One thing, never bring frustration to interfere with teaching learning process. So as a student, I never saw a teacher in that state of mind. But then once I became a teacher, I knew how to handle frustration and how teachers fight with their own frustrations, and they don't let it interfere with the teaching learning process.
That is an aspect which I understood as a teacher, about a teacher. So it made me, it gave me huge respect for teacher. That one thing I wanted to share. And on a closing note, don't give him a fish, teach him how to fish. And my teachers have not just taught me the subject, they have also taught me how to think creatively, how to solve problems. And today, whatever thought process I carry till my last breath, I have borrowed it from my teachers. So those teachers, they stay with me in the thought process that I carry. And I would like to, in this moment, thank all those teachers of Guru Tattva. And also I'd like to thank the platform, Utsahin, the three pillars, Rami Reddy sir, Anirbanji, Raghuram sir, for making this happen. And also thank the executive committee and also the council for making this happen. And also the media partners, TVASIA, Telugu channel for telecasting it, broadcasting it live. With this, I would like to thank everyone for joining us and hand it over to Sudhaji for prayer.
Sudha. I think there is a internet. Sudha? Yeah.
Yes. Over to Sudhaji for prayer.
May we march forward with a common goal. May we be open-minded and work together in harmony. May our prayers be one. May we belong to one brotherhood. May our aspirations be harmonious. May our minds be unison. May we strive to reduce disparity. May we be bound in strong fellowship and unity. Sangashatvam.
All right, thank you.
Happy Teachers Day to all once again.
Namaste and thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. And we will end up with a happy note. May I request everybody to please stand up for the national anthem, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे